Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, and Barack Obama. 3 presidents known, at least occasionally, for being funny. Few people would describe either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump as a laugh riot, though Trump and riot might not be too big a stretch. Okay, so we're going to do our best to inject a little humor into a day when many of our fellow Americans are hiding under the bed or drinking heavily, or maybe both.
Well, here to help with our assignment is someone who, like Greg here, does this for a living. He's been on late-night shows we all turn to for some political sanity. He's done a half-hour comedy special for Comedy Central, and his new Comedy Central stand-up album is called Yelling. Plus, he comes from a purple state. Right now, we want to welcome comedian Nick Turner.
Hello.
Nick, thank you for being here. Happy Election Day.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, we have lived through the craziest election, I want to say, in American history. Am I right?
I concur.
I mean, I guess it's a little selfish to think that because you're alive now. I bet there was some crazier stuff going on that they just did not do a lot of reporting on.
Yeah, that could be.
Back when you could just crack skulls on the Senate floor, there's a lot of stuff.
Shoot people in the middle of Fifth Avenue and still get elected.
Oh,
yeah,
he said that. There was
now.
I went back and looked at this last night. There's hundreds of issues. Like every day there was a different story or 2 stories. Let's start back at the beginning with all those candidates. We had Ted Cruz. We had Marco Rubio. Remember the debates?
My boy Ben Carson.
Ben Carson.
Where's Ben Carson? Where was he during the whole debate?
What did you think about when he had to get called out, but he stayed behind with the curtain? Do you know what I'm talking about?
The greatest moment of the election so far?
Or what do you think about Jeb Bush? Remember when he had to ask everyone to please clap in order to get a rise out of a crowd?
He's my I've had so many loyalties over the course because people keep dropping out. Because obviously at first I was an O'Malley cat, like everyone, and then I became a Bernie bro,
right.
And then he was out, and then so I took, I became a Gary Berry. And then I saw some interviews, so I changed. I took the Jill pill, but I don't know any of her policies.
You don't?
No. So I guess I got to vote for Greg Johnson.
Thank you. Wouldn't that be nice?
Johnson on the ballot today.
Pledging right now to write in Greg Johnson.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much. It's going to be a huge boon to my career. I really appreciate that. Get out there. Vote Greg Johnson. Now, you said you supported Bernie. What did you think would have happened if Brooklyn's own Bernie had ended up in the White House?
I think we could pretty much do whatever we want. No clothes, no houses. You could just walk into anybody's house that you want to and live there. You can go to any school. I'd be the president of Harvard. I think it'd just be a real utopia. No problems in America.
So what about New Yorkers voting and relating to all of these things? New York got a lot of headlines with the New York values and all that jazz from Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz. We could have used that months ago.
Cruz.
Oh, we missed it.
Rolls off the tongue. Like
There's always 2020 when he runs again.
But what are the New York values? You get to travel the country. What do we laugh about here that they don't get?
9/11.
Too soon.
Yeah, drugs. It really is. I just went to, I just traveled to Phoenix, Arizona, and a very affluent part, and I did a weekend, and it was to exclusively Trump supporters.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. People wore Make America Great Again hats.
Unironically.
Unironically, hoping I would say something, because I look like this and I'm from where I am, and I'm an East Coast boy, and it's quite challenging. It's hard to talk. It's hard to talk about. In New York, I can talk about anything. Just be as horrible as a person as I am. But when I travel around the country, I got to clean it up.
They were waiting to Amy Schumer you.
Oh yeah.
So
Put your phones away.
What joke would have started the walkout that you decided you felt the temperature of the room like I'm not going to tell this joke that would fly here in the BK Live set?
Well, it's just like talking about my true feelings on literally any political topic. I have a joke about how my family is so Democrat. Like, we still fight. When I go home for Thanksgiving, we still get into it. But we're just arguing about who's the most liberal. And then it just devolves into people like trying to convince everyone that they're the most liberal. Like, my grandma will be like, you know, she's like, I think the oldest person in the country should be president, and that's a real thought. And I don't think that's a good idea. I think that's too much turnover.
Let's go rapid fire with some of these things that we've had over the past 18 months that we can all talk about. The wall. What do we think about Trump's plan for a wall? Will that come to fruition?
No, it's a bad idea because it's not high enough.
Well, he's already inside, so it's all.
What do we think Bill Clinton would be like as a first lady?
He gets to still be a man, right?
I think so, yeah.
Is that by law?
If he ever was, there's a marriage joke in there somewhere about Hillary Clinton.
What about
I'll leave it
Ken
to the
Bone,
pros.
that guy from the debates?
Sweet Ken.
That guy-
Will he remain a superstar forever?
That guy was the quickest fall, I think, of... Even Martin O'Malley was in the race longer. And Martin O'Malley was in the race for 4.5 minutes.
Sweet Ken Bone.
What do we think? Why do we think people are so obsessed with an election cycle like this? Like, is this a product of kind of our own doing because we all want to be on board with like a big sensational sort of 18-month spectacle? Or why is it? Why has this election cycle been so crazy?
I think because one of the candidates wants to grab women.
Yeah, I got you.
I really.
Let him walk through this thought.
I can't remember exactly whereby,
Yeah.
but I think that's really all of it that you need. He was like the first person in, and the last one out.
He called 9/11 7/11. Do you remember that? And he didn't apologize.
That's just good. You see, that is funny.
What do we think about Billy Bush?
Wrong
He's out of a
answer.
job. Brian, you're a big Billy Bush fan, right?
Yeah, I'm voting for him to get a cabinet position.
Yeah, there we go. I
Maybe
like that.
A closet position.
How will NYC get through this election? Like, what do we think is going to happen tomorrow when we wake up, or, you know, when the inauguration comes around?
Well, hopefully we can all just get off Facebook for a week. You know, I think coming tomorrow, what a good idea is to just log off and write your password down and eat it and never get back on.
Well, this was my favorite question then. If you're casting the 2016, the movie, who would you cast as HRC and the other guy?
I think that luckily SNL has done our casting for us.
Luckily.
And there's no reason to deviate from that. I think they've been doing a great job.
How do you think the loser will act? A question for you both. And when do you think they'll cede the election? Nick?
When they'll cede?
Yeah.
I mean, Trump won't cede, right?
Well, like, will he ever concede that he lost?
No. I think Inauguration Day, he shows up. And he's like, there's no proof that I did not win this election. It was rigged. And then she'll put her hand on the Bible. He'll slap it away and put his hand on the Bible. And he might actually end up winning that
You're
way.
fired, Hillary.
And what will happen to the Obamas? You think Michelle will run for president?
Yes. Maybe not by today. They might still have to leave the White House and move back to Chicago. Although I guess they're staying in D.C. for the kids.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for any woman who has to follow Michelle Obama as the first lady.
You mean
Woman
Bill
or
Clinton?
man? Yeah.
Yeah, so Bill Clinton, if Hillary wins, might be a nice little refresher for whoever has to follow her. Like, we saw the woman. It's like, come on, that's going to be a tough act to follow.
Don't sleep on Bill Clinton. He's got some beautifully toned arms. It's just that he's not so braggy about it.
Yeah,
He puts a jacket on like a
He
gentleman.
is a
He's
vegan
man.
now.
Nick, thank you for voting for me for president
Oh,
today
yeah,
when you
absolutely.
go. And we're out of time. Thank you very much for being here. Nick Turner is hilarious. His album's called Yelling. Check him out online and all that fun stuff. Nick Turner, the greatest. Nick, seriously, thank you for being here very
Thank you
much.
very much.
You're the
for
greatest.
Making Election Day special.
I love you, man.